Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Going to be giving you my predicted 11 for Manchester United's game against Young Boys in the Champions League group stage. I think Ralph Rangnick will go with the 4-2-2 formation. And he will rotate heavily. So anyway, in goal, I'm going to go with Dean Henderson. Henderson has only been in goal for one game so far this season. That was West Ham in the Carabao Cup. Revert back to earlier on in the season, Henderson was out with COVID for a while. Henderson wants a loan move away from Manchester United next year because revert back to last summer, De Gea reclaimed the number one spot back. At one point last season, Henderson got the number one jersey. And he did well in a lot of the games he was in goal for last season. You know, he made good saves and his distribution was good. At the start of last season, Henderson committed his future to Man United because he signed a 6-year contract. Henderson has got experience behind him because don't forget he endured 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. He's also had other loan spells before. Now at right back, I'm going to go with Diego Dalot. Dalot has played in Manchester United's last 2 games and he's been very impressive. You know, Dalot was good against Crystal Palace and he was also good against Arsenal. He played against Arsenal because Bissaka wasn't available. You know, Bissaka was out with a hand injury. Bissaka is now back. It could be Bissaka at right back in this game, but I would stick with Dalot. He deserves another chance. Last season, Dalot had a loan spell with AC Milan, and reflecting on that, he gained some experience. Manchester United got Dalot around 3 years ago from Porto. Manchester United paid around £19 million for him. He's got a contract with Man United until 2023. The 2 centre-halves, I'm going to go with Eric Bailly and Victor Lindelof. Eric Bailly played no part against Crystal Palace recently. The last game Bailly played was the 1-1 draw with Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and Bailly was very impressive in that game. The only reason he played against Chelsea though is because Maguire was suspended. Bailly's made 4 appearances so far this season. Bailly lost his place in the team a while ago, obviously with Man United signing Varane last summer, and obviously Lindelof's been preferred to Bailly. Don't ask me why, because Bailly is a far superior centre-half to Lindelof. Bailly is injury prone, which is a concern. Towards the end of last season, he signed a new contract with Man United until 2024. There's an option of a further year. He's been at Manchester United for 5.5 years now. Man United got Bailly from Villarreal back in 2016 for £30 million. Victor Lindelof, he played against Crystal Palace recently, and to his credit, he put a good performance out. I thought defensively he was good, and he brought the ball out well from the back. Lindelof has done well recently, to his credit, but despite that I still have my reservations about him. Lindelof's been at Manchester United for around 4.5 years now. Man United got Lindelof from Benfica back in 2017. Man United got him for around £31 million. So yeah, they're the two centre-halves. Left back, I'm going to go with Alex Telles. Telles has played Manchester United's last 4 games. He's been very, very impressive. Telles has obviously been playing recently because Luke Shaw's not been available. Luke Shaw's been out with a concussion. Telles was good against Crystal Palace recently. I like the way he provided energy and width to Manchester United's attacks. He also had some chances in the game. One of the chances, he hit the crossbar from the free kick. He's undroppable at the moment, Telles, reflecting on his good performances. Revert back to what I mentioned on my match reaction to the Palace game. Telles was out with injury earlier on this season. The reason Manchester United brought Telles in was to provide competition for Luke Shaw. Man United got Telles for around £15.4 million with add-ons included from Porto last year. Now the two centre defensive midfielders, I'm going to go with Nemanja Matic and Donny van der Beek. Matic didn't play any part against Crystal Palace. Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but despite that, he still seems to get his opportunities. And surprisingly enough, he's been ahead of Van der Beek in our midfield. As far as I'm aware, Matic is the only predominant centre defensive midfielder that Man United have got. Matic has been at Manchester United for around 4.5 years now. Man United got Matic from Chelsea back in 2017 for £40 million. Donny van der Beek didn't start against Crystal Palace recently, but he did come on in the game. Didn't start against Arsenal last week, but came on in that one. Didn't start against Chelsea either, came on in that one. He did start the game against Villarreal. He started in number 10 ahead of Fernandes. That was the 2-0 game, and he did alright in that one. Van der Beek has only scored 2 goals for Manchester United. You know, Van der Beek's been at Manchester United for over a year and a half now. This season is his second full season at Man United. Man United got Van der Beek for £40 million with add-ons included. He's got a contract with Man United till 2025. There's an option of a further year. Van der Beek is versatile. He can play in 3 different roles. The only way we can persuade Van der Beek to stay at Man United is if he gets opportunities under Ralph Rangnick. Because revert back to when we had Solskjaer, Van der Beek did not get enough opportunities. Now the two attacking midfielders, I'm going to go with Jadon Sancho and Juan Mata. Jadon Sancho, of course, played against Crystal Palace. He was very, very good in the first half, but he faded away in the second half. Sancho, of course, played against Arsenal. Weren't brilliant in that game. Sancho scored in the games against Chelsea and Villarreal. Sancho has scored 2 goals for the club so far. But Sancho has really improved since Manchester United sacked Solskjaer. You know, revert back to when Man United had Solskjaer, Man United could not get the best out of Sancho because obviously Solskjaer was persistently playing him out of position. And there was quite a few games Sancho didn't even play in under Solskjaer. But it seems like now Sancho is starting to settle in, which is good. I expected him to settle in straight away, but there again, not every player does settle in straight away. You know, providing that Sancho's used correctly, he will have a good career at Man United, I'm sure of it. Sancho endured 4 good years at Borussia Dortmund before he came to Man United. Man United got Sancho for 78 million with add-ons included. Man United paid around 73 million up front. He's got a contract with Man United until June 2026. There's an option of a further year. Juan Mata. Can't remember the last time he played for Man United. Juan Mata has had a good career though at Manchester United. You know, he has made over 200 appearances in all competitions. And he's scored over 50 goals. Being a long-serving player as well at Man United, Mata has been at the club for 7.5 years. Manchester United got Juan Mata from Chelsea back in 2014 for 40 million with add-ons included. Brought him in under the David Moyes era. At the first part of last season, Mata rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. But Juan Mata, obviously, you know, he's aging up and he has lost that yard of pace. The 2 strikers, I'm going to go with Anthony Elanga and Mason Greenwood. Anthony Elanga came on against Crystal Palace recently. He does look a good asset for the first team squad, does that Elanga. I haven't had a great deal of a perception on him because he doesn't really get in the first team a lot. Mason Greenwood, he came on against Crystal Palace recently and he got the assist for the Fred goal. Greenwood was out for quite a while because he did have COVID. Greenwood has scored 4 goals in the league so far this season. He scored a stunning goal in the 4-2 defeat to Leicester earlier on this season. Didn't he? At one point though, Greenwood went a while without scoring, but despite that he's been a revelation since he broke into our senior squad. Greenwood made his senior debut for Man United back in 2019. He's been a United player since the age of 7, so he's been part of the club for a long time. And, you know, last season Greenwood signed a new 4-year contract. So yeah, that's how I think Manchester United could line up against young boys in the Champions League. By the way, Lingard has picked up an injury and so too has Anthony Martial. Other players are missing as well. Obviously, Edison Cavani's still out. Pogba's obviously out with a thigh injury. He's out for the rest of the year. And I think Luke Shaw is still out or was out with a head injury. This game against Young Boys is Manchester United's final game of the group stage of the Champions League. Manchester United lost the reverse fixture to Young Boys 2-1. Obviously Lingard cost us that game because he played an horrendous back pass right at the end. And Bissaka got sent off in the reverse fixture against Young Boys. Manchester United are coming into this game on the back of a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace. Of course, the win against Crystal Palace was Ralph Rangnick's first win as Manchester United manager. Ralph Rangnick is Manchester United's interim manager until the end of the season. Then after that, Rangnick will continue in a consultancy role for a further 2 years. As you all know, Rangnick has been given a 100 million transfer budget for January. Rangnick wants Amadou Haidara as his first signing at Man United. Amadou Haidara has a £33 million release clause. Revert back to last week, the Manchester Evening News said that Rangnick wants a Timo Werner reunion at Man United, and there's a few other players he wants. Before Manchester United, Rangnick was the head of sports and development at Lokomotiv Moscow. I think Rangnick can win a trophy at Manchester United. We need to win a trophy this season because Man United have not won a trophy since 2017. Reports in America said today that Chris Armas is set to become Ralph Rangnick's assistant at Manchester United. An announcement is expected in the next few days. Chris Armas, before he managed Toronto FC and before he managed New York Red Bulls. To be honest with you, I don't really know much about him. But revert back to Ralph Rangnick, this game against Young Boys will be his second game in charge of Manchester United. Young Boys, they're sitting 4th in the Swiss League. Their current manager is David Wagner. Before Young Boys, he managed Schalke. Before Schalke, he managed Huddersfield. And before Huddersfield, he managed Borussia Dortmund's reserve team. Like I said, I do know a few of the players that Young Boys have got. Obviously, they've got Wilfred Kanga. They've got Yannick Touré. They've got Christopher Martins. They've got Felix Mambimbe. They've got Fearson Jordan Sibachu. They've got Ensami. They've got Joel Montero. So they are a few of the players that young boys have got. Manchester United's next game in the league is Norwich at the weekend. Ralph Rangnick is said to be interested in taking the Man United job on a permanent basis. Said that not so long ago. I can assure Man United will get a permanent manager at the end of the season. Obviously, Pochettino's been mentioned. Mancini got mentioned last week. Eric Ten Hag got mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and Brendan Rodgers got mentioned earlier on in the season. Manchester United have sacked 4 permanent managers since Ferguson. Man United sacked David Moyes after 10 months. Then Man United sacked Louis van Gaal after 2 years. Then Man United sacked Jose Mourinho after 2.5 years. And over 2 weeks ago now, Manchester United sacked Solskjaer following the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Did you know that Man United have only won around 4 trophies since Ferguson retired, and that was the FA Cup under Van Gaal and the Europa League, the League Cup and the Community Shield under Jose Mourinho. Manchester United have not been the same team since Ferguson retired. We've got to accept that we're never going to be the team we was under Ferguson, because no one's going to replicate what Ferguson did. Ferguson brought success to Manchester United. He won 30 odd trophies, including 13 Premier League titles. But Ferguson didn't settle in straight away because he didn't win out in his first 4 years at Man United. It does take some managers time to settle in. Alex Ferguson was at Man United for around 26 years, so reflecting on that, he was a very long-serving manager. But like I say, Manchester United have got a good squad, and I believe now we're going to get the best out of these group of players under Ralph Rangnick. It was a very good performance by the team against Crystal Palace recently. Look who we've got. You've got the best player in the world overall in Ronaldo, and then you've got Rashford, that's good overall, but there's aspects of his game that I've got to improve. You've got Greenwood, that's a talented player. Anthony Elanga looks a good asset for the first team squad. Revert back to what I said earlier on. Sancho's done quite well recently. You've got Bruno Fernandes, that's also an exceptional player. You've got Cavani, that's also a good player as well. Cavani's still out with injury though at the moment. Cavani initially lost his place in the team with the club re-signing Ronaldo last summer. Donny van de Beek's a good player but doesn't get in the team much. Pogba's also a good player but hasn't been able to play for a while because he's out with a thigh injury. Fred, he's in scintillating form at the moment. He's done well in his last 3 games as Fred. Fred scored a stunning goal against Palace. He got an assist against Arsenal and won the penalty against Arsenal. Did well against Chelsea. And you've got, Tellez, that's in form at the moment. Dalot's done well recently. Tellez and Dalot are our second choice fullbacks. Luke Shaw's a good left back overall, but certainly Luke Shaw's not proven how good he can be so far this season, because when he hasn't been injured and when he's played, he's been terrible as Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw hasn't played since the 4-1 defeat to Watford. Bisaki, like I said, he's good defensively, but the attacking side of his game is not so good. And I think Varane's a good centre-half, but he's out with injury at the moment. Baye's a good centre-half as well. Maguire, he's a good centre-half when he wants to be, but hasn't really proven how good he can be at Man United. To Maguire's credit, I thought he did well against Palace recently, but that game against Palace was the best game he endured for a long time. Revert back to earlier on this season, Maguire had a calf injury, and towards the end of last season he had ligament damage in his ankle. Lindelof, I don't think he's a good centre-half overall, but to his credit, he's done well recently, so I'm hoping he can continue with the good performances. David De Gea, he's done really, really well this season as well. He had very little to do against Palace. He was only called into action from long-range efforts. He enjoyed a bizarre moment against Arsenal last week because he went down in the build-up to Smith Rowe's goal. But he still made some good saves in that game to deny Aubameyang and Gabriel. And De Gea did well against Chelsea as well because he made some good saves in the first half of that game to deny Odoi and Rudiger. So there you go. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you with. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel if you do consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.